most firemen in social.
Just click that button again.
You have any issues? Okay. No, just starting the recording.
And then hit that.
Okay.
So we're live now? Yes.
Okay. Chances of me messing this up are high. All right. We'll get started because we're live. Welcome everybody. We'll call the meeting to order. Looking for any declarations of conflict of interest. Thank you very much. Approval of the agenda.
Sure.
Okay, move second and also a third, which is perfect. Adoption of the minutes from the March 23rd, 2021 meeting.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Business arising from the minutes. Anything? Anything from you, Bob? Okay, we're going to move right into reports. So we'll get right into fire. And Chief, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Chair. Operational report from April 21st to May 19th, 2021. We're under fire inspections. We had 5 fire inspections. Follow-up fire inspections were 15. Complaint inspections were 13. Inspections for failure compliance orders issued, there were 9. Inspection files closed out, there were 4 for a total of 46. Also, there were plans review and permits, fire safety plans and consultations created. Engine 1 visitations, there were 14. Fire investigations, there were 2. Education sessions, there were 3. Emergency response, District 1 responded to 31 calls, District 2 to 23 calls, and there were also 12 fire inspector callers for a total of 66. And on time, we were on scene for 29 hours and 31 minutes. 29 hours and 36 minutes rather. Weekly training, department training consists of JPRs, CPR, and live fire training. And our activities for the department involved nurses parade and daycare truck visit and a happy birthday drive-by. One individual in the community there. So that was the operational report. I also sort of like to bring committee up to speed on just a few little things.
Chief, before you go on, is there any questions on the operational report piece?
No.
No.
Anything from you, Bob?
No, great.
Okay, Chief, I just have one quick question for you. Complaint inspections. Are they, the complaints are we getting, what would they, give me an example of a complaint inspection. Would it be something around, we see a lot of these boarding houses, or even boarding houses popping up where they seem to be over-occupied. Is that something that falls under that category of?
It could very well be.
Okay.
It can be any complaint whatsoever. It could be backyard burning. It could be egress in a retail space, where egress is thought to be sort of crowded a little bit in retail occupancy. It can be in any form.
Okay. Okay, cheers. Okay, thank you. All right, moving into your next part.
Okay, just a few little things. The ladder one currently under construction with cab and chassis being assembled. Negotiations. We've met 6 times with local 5219, and we have other dates on the calendar for renegotiations to resume. Also, engine 5 has been decommissioned, is now gone. Emergency generators, I keep bringing this up, and I think June we're going to tender for emergency generators for various facilities, which would be good to see. The new fire station, the executive project team continues to meet with the architects to nail down the space summary report on it. And once we get that completed, we'll be back to committee. Fire prevention bylaw, the revision, that file continues to advance. There's continuous work going on that file. Hose testing, all the hoses in the department's been tested, received its annual testing, so that job's out of the way. Also, volunteer recruitment. We have actually 12 candidates who successfully completed their level 1 training and currently going through their orientation. They'll finish their orientation this evening at both stations with the district chiefs. We have 8 recruits going to Station 1 and we have 4 recruits going to Station 2. So overall, at the end of the day, Station 1 should have 43 volunteers and Station 2 should have 41 volunteers.
Awesome.
We're quite pleased with the recruitment process this year. Volunteer honorariums have gone out, that work has been completed. We are also, fire prevention, working on a mulch program. We had mulch fires last Friday, Thursday or Friday, we responded to our first mulch fire of the season. And fire prevention is doing a program, maybe some small signs in mulch bed retail areas, drive-throughs, that sort of thing, just sort of politely reminding their patrons to not put in cigarette butts in the mulch bed, that sort of thing. So fire prevention is working on that new initiative there, so hopefully we'll be coming forward shortly. Also, EMO team, we have met a couple of times since the spring, trying to develop a process whereby having some of our staff be on hand for should an emergency shelter need to open quickly after the storm has passed through and before Red Cross is brought on to do their part. So we're sort of trying to define that a little bit better. So EMO is moving in that regard and having meetings. So that pretty well brings us up to speed.
Wow. Thank you, Chief. Any questions for the Chief? Mr. Ramsey.
Thank you, Chief, for your report. Emergency generators. I know in the past, 2014, 2018, we were talking with them. How many are we looking at? I know you can't say where they're going, but I just wondered.
Right. There's probably about 4.
Okay.
Thereabouts some quick numbers. Police Station 1 is City Hall. There's an option there to have one generator do both buildings. Also looking at an upgrade for the police station. And also Station 2 will have a generator as well.
And we were thinking about the one in Station 1 or something years ago that we're going to transfer it somewhere else. Is that possible?
Correct. That should be going to Maplewood Road.
Right.
Sure.
Okay.
Grandpa.
Excellent. Thank you.
Councillor McLeod, any questions?
Thank you.
Councillor Duran, any questions?
No, everything's perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
So, Chief, just a quick question for you. The fire station design, when are we hoping to have the preliminary drawings back on that? That was something we can move forward on.
There's no time set exactly. We'll do a meeting on state program.
Okay. So, I know we talked about, originally it was talked about a kind of a completion date or hopeful completion date. Are we still kind of on target based on some of the delays, or was this all kind of part of the process leading up to now?
Still very much part of the process, and hopefully maybe when we meet next week,
Yeah.
We'll be able to nail down a little bit more of a finer detail as to when things will be able to progress further.
Perfect. On the mulch campaign that you're doing up now, the safety campaign or the information campaign around mulch, is this something you'll do in a pamphlet that's going to be a mail out? Is it going to be social media, radio ads? Because I hear a lot about the mulch fires, and I mean there's myths around that saying that the mulch can catch on fire on its own, or does it need something to start it, such as a cigarette or?
Right. What we'll do is we'll obviously do some public education with it through social media.
Yeah.
And we'll do it both through our office and through the city as well. And we'll use their channels to make sure that we're getting the message out there. And we'll make an announcement that there'll be a PSA going out to the program starting and that sort of thing.
Perfect.
I just wanted to advise council today, our committee today, that our fire prevention officer is working on that project and moving that forward.
Good project. Yeah, perfect. Okay, thank you, Chief.
One more thing.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, sorry, on the mulch thing, you hit all the questions. But does the fire start, it wouldn't start on its own, correct? With mulch, or does it?
Correct. Usually what we found in our experience,
Mm-hmm.
we found that it's usually a cigarette.
Okay. There has to be something to start the fire.
That's what starts.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
That's what we find.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, we're going to move into operational police.
Chair, under bylaws, a couple updates. So the accessible taxi bylaws moved along. It's on to the second reading. Is that right, Councilor Bud?
Yep.
So that's it's good initiative. I'm glad to get that done. Mm-hmm. Also, Chair, you're also aware that we met with Downtown Inc. A few days ago, who are looking for some, operational assistance from police in dealing with aggressive panhandlers. We've committed to review our nuisance bylaw and look at ways that we can improve our service in that area. So that's still pending, and we'll follow up on that. There's also been, under bylaws, there's requests for under the push cart. I guess it would be, there's a vendor looking to sell, they're looking to sell mass out of a tricycle mobile unit as opposed to a push cart. So under our bylaw, really only thing for tricycles and bicycles are confectionery items like ice cream and stuff like that. We're looking for some feedback or consideration, some input. What do you think of allowing this to proceed as is, given the circumstances we're under? We as long as they're mindful of the traffic safety and same as a confectionery bicycle, we don't see any issue with it.
Okay, what restrictions are in place right now for, if there's any, for someone selling ice cream, or, I mean, because I know that they used the same thing for Tourist Guide, didn't they, at one point?
Yeah. So, no real restrictions other than, they certainly have to be registered and they have to be mindful of the traffic safety and, yeah, it's a pretty straightforward process. It's just, there's no wording in the bylaw to cover anything other than confectionery items.
Okay. Any questions? Yep.
So, well, they'll just have like a cooler on board, I would assume, of some sort, and would it be would it be help themselves type thing, or does the driver, like, how much, or is there going to be a second person on this?
No, it's just one person, but
Don't sell what masks?
Masks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, they're not selling ice cream. They're selling.
Yeah. So the garbage can will be on board. Will they put their glass in?
Yeah, we can check into that. We'll have our bylaw officer make sure that we're consistent with best practices and other. And we got a little legwork to do on this, to a little review, and but just brought to my attention actually just for the meeting today. So I just wanted to share the first opportunity, get some feedback, and we'll review it. We don't, on the face of it, we don't have any issues, but
Can we allow for even a temporary use if need be? I mean, considering that we're summertime hitting, people in the streets, masks being, urgent now and maybe not as urgent next year, sort of thing.
yeah.
Do we maybe put in for temporary use,
Yeah, I think
something like this, and then have time to review later?
Yeah, I think that would be a responsible approach to it for sure. And
Is that
Yeah.
Councillor Ramsey? Is that okay with you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Councillor Duran, is that okay with you? Okay. Yes, go ahead, Councillor
I don't know
Ramsey.
if it's under the bylaws, but our monument down there, the people are protesting, we all received emails.
yeah,
How do you address that, or do you?
well, I
It's a
think
touchy subject.
well, I think we certainly hear the voices of the constituents, but it's well established person's right to peaceful protest, and there's nothing from protesting in that area. There's no way we can enforce them to stop protesting in that area, and so I think it's there's nothing from a police perspective. Now, if there's some measures put in place, then we can look at if it fell within the bylaw, but certainly we recognize their right for peace to protest, and as long as they're not breaking laws in any of those kinds of aspects, I think our hands are tied.
Yeah, there's a lot of people are upset about the spot they are protesting at, right?
Yeah,
I'm war veterans and all that, they're all upset about it, and families of war veterans.
yeah, it's but there's nothing under our bylaws that would prevent that, or there's no laws that prevent that, you know, so as long as they're not, you know, causing disturbance or engaged in any sort of obstruction of traffic or, you know, freedom of movement of other people, and, you know, we're getting our hands are tied in that matter.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any questions, Councillor Duran?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Good. All right. Let's move on to personnel.
Personnel, so summer staffing, we've started to staff up for summer staffing. We're doing some screening processes now. We have noted that it's been a challenge this year to find summer casuals, and we have not had that problem in the past. I think COVID-19 has played a part in that, but also recruiting challenges from around the region and the rest of Canada, I think, have finally setting in here. Police Academy enrollment is down to 29 applicants this year. A normal class would be about 90, so it's quite a reduction. So
All due to COVID, do you think? Or
no, it's
but
not
just
due to COVID. It's, I think there's a number of factors that are playing into it. You know, certainly, you know, I think the trail of police and mainstream media has played a part in it, and a lot of young people don't see policing as a profession these days. I think is an unfortunate reality, but I think we're seeing that in the recruiting numbers. And when we look at our police academy, there's an enrollment cost. We don't have a sponsorship program where we're sponsoring candidates like they do in some other provinces. So you know, we're heavily relying on graduates and past graduates from the police academy to help us deal with offsetting you know, for the summer months for vacation and population influx. So we'll be very mindful of that going forward because you know, it would have a huge impact on our police services in our province if police academy enrollment kept on that trend.
so are there action plans in place now, campaigns to encourage young people to choose policing as a career like it once was?
Yeah, it's something, you know, I think we rely on recruiting or the police academy to attract candidates, and then we've always benefited from their efforts. I think going forward we need to also do a bit of marketing and strategic planning on certainly encouraging enrollment, but especially in our diverse communities, and looking at ways that we can make sure that you know, we're a strong partner with the police academy because, like I've said many times, we're heavily relying on their success.
How many do we usually look for?
In some years, as many as 20. Yeah. This year we have 3.
Yeah, it's down quite a bit.
Yeah.
And it's specific to the summer staffing, the May to September, or used to call it the old 10-week summer employment. That's where it's critical because the masses of trained police officers that are sitting at home waiting for this 10 weeks, they just don't exist right now.
Yeah.
That's not to say when we run permanent part-time positions or full-time positions that we won't have lots of applicants. We're not running into issues there. It's the summertime employment where there used to be large groups of people just waiting for the 10 weeks and they're being picked up or they're going to other jobs that aren't even police work.
So logistically, this is going to be a bit of a nightmare for you guys this summer.
It's something we're going to have to look at at budget time to look at, you know, how financially attractive we're making this opportunity.
Sure.
And you know, we want to make sure that we have the appropriate policing resources to police the population in the summer months. This year, last couple of years have been an exception with COVID-19, but we get back to a normal situation, we're going to need those resources.
Absolutely.
The chief process, my understanding, is set to resume sometime in June. I haven't got an official date yet, but we'll keep you updated on that.
So when you say process, has there been?
So my understanding is that it's been put out. There's a number of applicants and we're waiting for scheduling.
Gotcha, okay.
Community Action Team, some of you may be aware of this now, but Community Action Team is a new initiative that we're planning. So Community Action Team is designed to really help us deal with the community-related problems that we're experiencing that need more attention than the evolving reassignment of duties to deal with a specific issue. So, Community Action Team, is going to be a lot about traffic enforcement. There's going to be a lot about building relationships within their wards of responsibility, and a lot of community engagement initiatives. So the way we currently assigned 3 of our members. So for the Constable Tim Kaiser, Constable Dale Johnson, and Constable Irvin Coffin are the 3 initial members. And when we get our school resources officers available for the summer, they also will be assigned to this team. So
How long's the pilot for?
well, the pilot's for the summer months until September.
Okay.
And then we're looking at taking an evidence-based approach to extending this based on what we see from this pilot. And we believe, given their tasks, that they will have an impact, and that we will see a difference, certainly in the level of presence and traffic enforcement in the areas that need it. We took notice of the recent municipal survey and the feedback from our residents regarding traffic issues and the concerns that they have, and we've heard from council on numerous occasions, and this is a mechanism to help us deal with that and make some measurable progress.
So
Okay.
these 3 constables are going to be in charge of the 10 wards. It's like a sort of split, because I get the email from Dale, I think, saying that he's
So-
from Ward 5. I don't know if anyone else received an email.
Yeah, so Constable Dale Johnson is wards of responsibility are 5, 7, and 8. Constable Tim Kaiser, 1, 3, and 4. And Constable Irvin Coffin, 2, 6, 9, and 10. And what really we mean by wards of responsibility is that it's not realistic to think they're going to be in that ward all the time, but they're advocates for that ward to make sure that they're getting their share of enforcement, community engagement, and it's their responsibility to feed that back and report that back to the management team, so we can make sure that it's having the necessary impact in all areas of the city that requires it. Because what I think we realize is police presence is important as police enforcement, in that there's the perception of safety is as important as the reality of safety. And when people see the police, it accomplishes both of those. So, we're very optimistic about this, and we look forward to keeping you updated on the progress.
Okay, so when a councillor gets a question from a resident or concerns are shared, is our role to contact these members kind of personally and say, here's what I'm hearing from? Or
the issue we ask them is to try to build that direct communication so nothing gets lost in communication, and that so we encourage you councillors to contact these officers. We've made them aware that that is going to happen. They will catalog that information and
okay.
And just break down some of the kind of flatten the process to get some direct resources to those issues.
Perfect.
So,
Cash for that.
and so would it be easier for the officer to reach out to the councillors, or like I noticed that Kevin said he received an email from.
Yeah, and you will too, Councillor McLeod.
I haven't received it. I had talked to him, but I haven't received nothing from him. Sorry, this is my email, this is my phone number. If you need to reach me.
Okay, yeah, we'll make sure that you get that. And
Tim told me, I think Tim just passed me through them actually.
yeah.
So, and then as far as bylaw enforcement, though, we still go through Todd.
Exactly.
Right, okay, good, thank you.
But feel free, if you can't get
Yeah.
a Todd, to
Exactly.
use those options, the gateway to those
Great,
services.
okay, perfect.
So, sorry.
Yes,
Mr.
go
Chair,
ahead.
Like, do we have their own numbers as a counselor for these officers? Or how do we do
Yeah,
this?
they'll make contact, so they'll provide you their numbers.
Okay. I mean, because Dale didn't have his number on it.
Keep in mind, that they're not working all the time.
That's right,
If they
that's
do
right.
the message, they'll
They'll get back.
Yeah, that's right.
It's going to look
Can't
very
follow
similar
it.
to what
And,
councilors are doing with Constable Kaiser in the past. I think they've emailed them usually on the city email.
Okay.
So it's just that, only a larger version of it where they have actual responsibility for the different wards. So just continue on with the city
Okay.
email to address your concern.
Sure.
So one thing that we should try to do is at least let councillors know, what complaints should be driven to or who they should be driven to. So again, we talked about bylaw enforcement, which is still Todd
Yeah.
Sutcliffe. Do we, if you might have some councillors with confusion, they may get a call on something that's bylaw related that Todd normally deals with, but because these other officers now in place, they may receive the call instead of Todd, and then the relay would have to happen, and I guess maybe some direction on what calls should continue going to our bylaw officer and what maybe calls should be going through to.
Well, any bylaw, really, plans to go to the bylaw officer, but,
Oh, listen, it's clear cut
yeah.
when you say it to me,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying there's some that might find it challenging.
We will, we address this to the officers in the orientation we did last week, that they, if they get a call regarding a bylaw and it's not within their purview they will point you in the right direction or
Okay.
and we'll make sure that all the councilors get the appropriate contact information
Okay.
and direction.
I'm excited
Are you?
about this. I am, absolutely.
We've also posted internally a position for integrated offender management position, so under the Guns and Gangs funding. We had 2-year funding for integrated offender management position, so one of our officers who we identified as Constable Greg Meisner will be appointed as the officer. They will work closely with probation, jail, high-risk offenders, parental hub group, a number of organizations. And really the idea of this position is to work with our partners through a real crime prevention lens to help offenders be successful in the community. So especially post-incarceration, to work with offenders to give them every chance of success that they that's possibly they're willing to accept because if we can prevent crime, then there's a huge impact that's being saved to the city, not just in resources but in financial. So we'll also keep the community updated on that. It hasn't started yet, but we'll be rolling that out within the next month.
Sounds like a great support program,
Yeah, it's and
Yeah.
we hope it's received the same way by offenders because we truly want it to be successful and play our part again through that crime prevention lens to help them be successful. Under personnel, I'd like to notify community that our executive assistant Helen McGuigan will be retiring at the end of June.
Another party.
yeah.
Wow, Helen.
Greg, ever since you took over, like, they're all leaving.
I know. I finally got the leash. Setting them free.
We're excited for Helen, and HR is in the process of doing job application for her position.
So
Okay.
when are you finished on?
The end of June, but I have holidays to use at home when my.
So this could be your last meeting then. Could be.
Could be.
So-
Depends what the few ones.
Well, if it is the last meeting, congratulations on
Yes,
a
absolutely.
very long career.
Thank you.
How many years?
I've been here since '95, but I was with RCMP before that.
Yeah, well, good for
40-some
you.
years.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Anyways, congratulations and thank you for everything.
You're welcome. I'll miss and I have mixed feelings, but time comes sometimes.
Yep.
I thought about it in the fall, but then I didn't, so. Anyway.
Yeah. Well,
We know what you did.
we'll,
That's
you'll certainly be missed.
I've enjoyed my years.
Yeah, I know.
It's great. I've always loved work, so.
Yeah.
And I've loved the people I work with, so it's all good.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Thank you.
Real pleasure, Colin.
The Constable Pat Hogan will be attending Canadian Police College for training in June for a search warrant course. So, but all training at the Atlantic Police Academy for in-service courses has been suspended to the fall.
Okay.
APA, our contract negotiations with the union, we're submitting our exchange for proposals June 2nd, and we'll be meeting with them several times over June and July. That's it for personnel under operations. Mental health provincial outreach program, there's no update from my council on that. Community policing. Before Sean jumps in and gives you his brief, we just want to let you know that Corporal Rob, I'm sorry, Jared, did you want questions with community policing? No.
Councillor Drawn, any questions around the personnel bylaws, anything before he moves on? Community policing?
Everything was great.
Okay, super.
Thank you. Corporal Bob Larder put together a package, an initiative in efforts to get the CPS a new mascot. It's an initiative that a lot of police agencies across Canada are looking at and have engaged to try to, certainly build community relations, especially in our youth group. We see a need for it. I think our recruiting numbers, I think we need to start playing a part in influencing our youth. We've had a mascot, Sarge we called him, but it's probably been here longer than me and Helen and Sean, but I think it might be time to refresh it. We've got Corporal Larder did several quotes, and the cost for the package would be in the vicinity of $5,000, $6,000. We do have some money in our community policing budget. We might be able to cost share with some of the Healthy Me initiative because we'll be using it. So it's something we're looking at, and we'll keep community updated on that.
So that's it? No surprises, no ideas, no nothing?
Well, it's
wow.
quite a it's
Looks just like green.
it's a there's actually several companies that deal with police mascots, and we're kind of looking for ideas, but also developing how we will name the mascot, and through an outreach to youth groups and as a contest to help them give a new name to our new mascot. So
Community thing, yeah.
yeah, so it's still a lot of work to do, and as we kind of define some of these parameters, but again, I think it's something, I think it's a good initiative, and we'd like to support it.
That was awesome.
I think it's great. It is.
Helen, you're not retiring to be the mascot, are you? There's no surprise.
Well, that's tomorrow evening. So, be careful, Randy, when you retire.
You'll be Charlie Town. Okay, go ahead, sorry.
Chair, just to circle back around to personnel for a moment, we did put out a advertisement through City HR for summer dispatch positions. So we're looking for 2 people, and that's in the process right now.
Okay.
Eventually, in September, we're looking at holding another competition with those people probably being in the mix for that to be permanent part-time, 2 positions.
Okay.
In the fall.
What qualifications would be required there? Basically.
Well,
Does it have-
they
is there
have
much
to have a
policing?
criminal background check.
Yeah.
Have to have shown some form of, computer skills and
Yeah, of
telephone
course.
skills, and a lot of the training is done in-house once
Okay.
they're hired. But certainly there's some abilities and some traits that we'd be looking for.
Okay.
And then the advertisement is on the city webpage too, as far as the actual qualifications.
Thank you.
Just further to community, we assisted with the Palestine March that happened Saturday. It was upwards of 250 people there. So we were involved in that right from the beginning stages to help them out with that and make sure it was a peaceful protest. Additionally, Healthy Me is in full stride. Most of the classes are at the graduation level now with the Healthy Me officers, and there are a few classes that are just beginning, but that's just to finish up. So it's been a good year with that. Our SROs are still working hard doing what they do at the two high schools, as long with assisting in the Healthy Me. We participated in the Polar Plunge back on the 30th of April. This year it was at the National Parks. We had a large turnout for that. We're also participating in the PEI Law Enforcement Torch Run Fill Your Freezer campaign. And all that money raised goes to Special Olympics.
Fill your freezer with,
PEI Law Enforcement Torch Run Fill Your Freezer fundraisers underway. Stock up on cases of restaurant quality meat and seafood just in time to kick off barbecue season while helping support Special Olympics PEI. Our fundraiser sale will be available in order to order between May 6th and May 17th for pickup, Wednesday, May 19th. And then there's a link for further details.
awesome.
Yeah. Also, in relation to Torch Run, Constable McKay has been asked to participate in a professional video shoot from Folks Production. It's be about, her time in will be about 2 hours, and it will capture long mentorship between her and the Special Olympics PEI athletes. So she'll be in full uniform, and she'll show how she's gotten to know a lot of the special athletes along the way. So, and it should be well done. And finally, Constable Chantel Costello received a fairly significant award from the IODE Canada for her outstanding service with participating within the community.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, any questions?
Those stories can be found on our website.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you very much. Any questions, comments?
Great work.
Councillor Drawn?
No, everything sounds good, Greg, thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. So
We're moving to closed session.
we need a motion to move into closed session as per section 119(1)(b), D, E, and H of the MGA.
Sure.
Yeah, moved and seconded. All right, moving into closed session.